for Blumpkin and Friends, starring your host, the Reverend Johnny Blumpkin.
Hold on to your butts.
Blumpkin and Friends.
Excuse me, bitch.
Blumpkin and Friends.
Hey kids, I'm the Reverend Johnny Blumpkin, and with me here today is my friend,
Other Neil.
and...
Steiny.
Okay, there we go. Today's episode is all about being a father to boys. Because as it's well known amongst my circle, I had a streak going of only females, and I was surprised when I had one of the other.
I didn't think you had it in you.
I didn't think I had it in me. I mean,
The Beast.
Beast's ex, Loverboy, he's made, 2 more babies, and all girls. He's still making girls. He just only makes girls.
How many does he have?
In total, 6.
6 children. I mean, the averages should have worked out in his favor by then.
It should have, but they didn't. So we're just going to talk about some of the differences now that I have one or the other and what it's like having him. I mean, you only have the one.
I know. I got a boy on the first try.
Yeah, and then you just stopped, which was brilliant.
This may sound wrong to say, but after so many of my friends having nothing but girls, I was kind of glad I didn't have a house full of girls. I don't know if I would have been able to keep my sanity.
Well, I can tell you right now, my stepdaughter's getting to that hormonal preteen. Now she's 10. Any day now, she's probably going to wake up and have stained the sheets and be crying about it.
Oh, boy.
She's super sensitive that she's growing breast buds,
Oh.
which is a term that I didn't remember until the Juice, who was reading a puberty book that
The Beast.
got her, because she wants to know about puberty.
Oh, boy.
So she's like, oh, those aren't called baby boobies. Those are called breast buds. I'm like, oh, you have breast buds. And she's like, shut up and stop talking about them.
I think if you call him any name, it would have been offensive, and she wouldn't want you talking.
And then we keep telling her, I'm like, hey, are you wearing a bra? No. You should put one on. And the Juice talking about fucking diva cups now.
Oh, that's a fun one. I remember hearing about that a few years back, and so many people were ripping on those things.
It's like shoving a silicone cork up your pussy hole, catching all the menses, and then rinsing it out in somebody's sink and jamming it back up there and hoping there was nothing bacterial in the water before it goes back in your hoo-ha.
That's what I had the biggest questions about. That was the whole point of the tampon. It was you throw it away, or the pad, you throw it away. And this thing, you reuse it, you just rinse it off. And
Yeah, you can't
it goes
even
right
dunk
back
it
in
into a cup of tea. Now, I always thought that girls would be easier because I watched your son, other people's sons. I'm like, see, boys are loud and they just break all your shit. People talk about, oh, they throw stuff, they play too hard, they break all their fucking toys.
Yeah,
They're meatheads. And girls, they just,
sugar, spice, and everything nice.
they play gentler. They have tea sets and dolls. Their
Make
dolls
believe.
don't fucking slam into each other.
Ripping arms off their dolls and
Yeah.
having wounded victims of war. Yeah.
Although, they say with boys, you will have physical scars. And with girls, you have emotional scars. Which is true. They hurt your heart so many ways over the years. Specifically when they start to discover themselves. Their bodies and such.
The body is a playground to discover themselves? Or?
One of them's probably figured it out by now.
Okay.
I got to say, a few months back, my 3-year-old was laying on our bed, one hand down her diaper, staring at the ceiling, like she's gazing off into infinity. And I was like, uh-oh.
She's found it.
Her face is just like expressionless,
Oh, yeah.
but wide-eyed, like, oh my God.
Yeah, the secrets of the universe were revealed to her there.
Yeah, so I told her, I'm like, don't touch yourself.
I got one for you. So I think I learned about masturbation from my sister, who was 9 years younger than me, before I ever started masturbating.
That's
She
going to
was
be an interesting
she
story.
was probably 3 years old, I want to say, and she was still. It was 2 or 3. She was still wearing a diaper. She was kind of late to potty train. She didn't want to take to it, and she would sit there on kind of, if you picture wrestling, like actual wrestling, like the down position. She was in the down position, so her knees down on the ground with her hands and
She's on all fours,
on all
basically.
fours, yeah, but kind of more hunched on your butt. And she would sit there and rock back and forth and rub back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I had no idea what was going on.
On the floor or on stuff?
On the floor. On the floor. She'd be just sitting there. We'd be watching TV, and she'd be doing that back and forth and kind of breathing heavy a little bit. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then my parents had to enlighten me that my sister was masturbating at the age of 3.
I would have been like, stop doing that. It's unholy. Which is ironic because I don't believe in God.
Yeah, I was going to say. We didn't have that issue in my house.
Yeah. I know you've heard this one. With a boy, you only have to worry about one penis. With a girl, you have to worry about 1,000,000.
Yeah, I find myself not even worrying about my son's penis. But,
yeah. Like what he's doing with it until he ruins some poor girl's life in about 6 years here.
I was going to say until I become a grandpa. Then I'll be telling him. Yeah. But no, obviously you don't want him to get sick or, catch something. But you're right. That is the huge luxury of not having to worry about your child getting pregnant and not having somebody there to help them, or at a young age and still not out of high school, and all
or
that crap.
raped.
Or raped.
Unless they play for the Elk River hockey team.
Then they do the raping?
Well, it involves like a broomstick or a mop handle, but you're definitely not consenting to that object going up there.
Yeah, probably not. No.
You don't remember that story?
Was that where they had the hazing going on? Yes. Okay, I do. Yeah.
It's many years ago now, but I still love to quote that like it was yesterday. And I'm sure that the coaches that are still around just hate when that shit gets mentioned. Like, shut the fuck up. People are starting to forget about that. I'd like to keep my job.
Some things you can't move on from.
Right. Well, you shouldn't have gotten diddled like that. Which also brings me to locker room behavior. When I was in high school, I never showered after football practice because I just didn't want everybody to see my dick in case, they all had much bigger dicks.
Or there was something funny with yours?
Yeah, they're like, what's wrong with your dick? But there was a group of them, I shit you not, they would shower together religiously. And they had this game where they try to hawk loogies on each other's dicks.
Oh.
Tell me that shit isn't latently homoerotic.
Well, yeah, because you have to look at it to spit on it. Right?
Oh, you don't just have to quick gaze. You got to stare into it timing.
Well, and then you got to take trajectory and angles. Yeah.
You got to probably put your mouth a little bit closer.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Almost kind of bending over to make sure you got it.
You have to have incredible aim if you can lean back and make it seem like nothing's going on and then just rainbow arc a loogie onto some dude's dick without him noticing that shit.
See, I didn't do any of so in high school, Phi-Ed, all that kind of stuff, I never showered. It wasn't until my senior year in wrestling where I don't know if maybe my body had just developed enough to where I was sweating and I needed to take a shower after matches and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it was an odd, I don't want to say brotherhood, but it's an odd thing when you're showering with other guys who aren't family or, related to you. That sounds weird too, but I meant that in.
You have to be very comfortable with the group of people you're around,
right,
that no shenanigans are going to ensue. Towel snapping, soap stealing, finger banging.
Exactly. But there was always comments, oh, nice dick, or oh, what's with those pubes, or you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And like you said, homoerotic enough to where you're like, okay, I know you said it sarcastically.
But it feels like you're testing the waters.
Right, like you're gauging my response. If
you would have said, yeah, you too, just not even thinking about it, immediately somebody would have gone, oh, you just complimented me on my dick. No, I was just saying you too because you said I had a nice dick. Yeah, but I was just fucking around. You clearly meant it, you homo. You're so gay, you probably like to look at dicks, you homo. Nice dick. They just got to sneak in one last, Like those kids in Elk River were probably like, yeah, you stupid freshman, you probably like this fucking stick up your nice tight ass. Yeah, you like that, the way I'm twisting that?
Right.
Yeah, I'm not hard.
Right. I remember when I got mine.
Just a rite of passage, man. Be glad that it's not Hell Week, or you'd be getting fucking skewered like a pig roast from each end.
Oh, shit, I got you good, you fucker.
Imagine that. That was one thing about college that I was kind of glad I never got involved with, sororities and hazing and all that stuff, because it sounds like it was way worse than in high school.
But I imagine with girls, when they shower, one, it seems like the female showers have stalls instead of just a pipe with a bunch of heads coming out of the middle of it, all in an open room so everybody can fucking compare. Maybe they have it so it's more communal like the boys are, but still, I doubt they're hawking loogies on each other's tits.
Right.
And I don't even want to get into the logistics of trying to spit into each other's pussies because that just takes me to some sort of penthouse letter. Oh, we were showering after our college track meet. We all took turns fucking spitting on each other's clits. And then we're like, maybe we should try out for wrestling. Next thing you know, there's a 9-person 6-9-6-9 going on.
You're listening to Blumpkin and Friends.
My daughters literally only stop talking when they're asleep. And they normally do so all day at a volume that I can best describe as retarded.
Yay!
I could see that with your daughters.
Yeah, and with Junior, he chatters a little bit, but he doesn't get too loud. Even when he's excited, it's not very loud.
My boy, he would get loud because other people would get loud around him. You know, kind of being like the only kid in like a group of friends, or would go places, especially when he would hang out with his mom. You know, how she was bringing him to parties when he was real young.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he was pretty content to just kind of play quiet in the corner too. I think because there was always so much going on, he sometimes liked his own quiet time, which was fine for me because, well, back then, working the job I worked and all that,
Yeah.
I didn't want to deal with a whole lot of headaches when I came home.
Yeah. Here's something else. Diaper changes.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to change a girl's diaper.
Well, here's a weird one. Yes, I know that for a fact because when my sister was younger, I was 10, 11 years old, I was changing her diapers. And yeah, there's just something about the folds of the sack that catch every little bit of poop and diarrhea.
And you think you get it, and then later on, it's like, oh my God, no, now you've got a diaper rash because I left a couple of poo flakes on the bottom side of your sack.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fucking see them because I was too busy trying to keep you from wriggling away. Because he's a squirmer.
I don't know if it's something about boys. They don't like their legs like held together up over their head like that or something. Because that's what I would do. I would do basically one leg in between each finger, between the thumb and forefinger and the forefinger and the middle finger, and just hold them tight and try not to let them wriggle. But
Well, I grab both ankles together with my whole hand
yeah,
and pull it up as if I've caught a rabbit. And then
that's
I try to go to town. And I normally get the bulk of his ass before I attack the balls. Because once I get the ass, now I can move the diaper away.
yeah.
And he can't kick me and then put his foot in shit. And then I have to scream and then tell the wife to come finish it because now I want to punch a hole in a wall.
Because you got poop all over your hands.
Because there's poop on him. And then it gets on his foot. I'm like, son of a bitch. And then he kicks his other fucking leg and there's shit on his ankle now. He's just a shit machine.
Have your kids pooped in the tub?
Yeah, nobody as many times as he has.
There you go. My boy hardly did it ever, but I've heard boys are way worse for that.
And taking his diaper off.
Yeah, you were just saying he was standing around letting it hang in the breeze the other day.
So he did this thing where he took his diaper off the other day. And then he put his arms up like, yay! Like he's fucking showing it to everybody in the room. Like, gaze upon my penis. I was just like, what fucking bizarre behavior that I'm pretty sure I've done something similar to your mom before.
Yeah, he's a showman.
But, you know, he's also taken his diaper off and played with poop.
Oh,
Only one of the girls did that.
okay.
One. And that's out of, counting my stepdaughter, of the 4 girls that live here, only one. Yeah.
I've heard that's also a fixation for boys as well.
Due to Browns.
Yeah. You know, when you have a kid who's going to take off his diaper and just run around naked, you got to expect that he's going to play with what he finds in there, too, I guess.
And that leads us to my next point, is I was amazed at how much that kid cannot keep his hands off his own dick. It's all the time. You change his diaper, he's grabbing at it. You put him in the tub, he's grabbing at it. You don't have a diaper on him, will you grab something? He's fucking tugging on it and slapping it around and fucking trying to stretch his sack. A couple times I've caught him just sitting there, like rolling it back and forth between his thumb and forefinger like fucking Matthew McConaughey in those goddamn Lincoln commercials. And it's just like, I don't need this in my life, complicating things. Because then my daughters will notice it.
Right.
And I've said a few times, I'm like, dude, stop grabbing your wiener. And then my 3-year-old, who has a number of speech impediments right now because she's 3, is adorable and says,
Just adorably.
this is how it sounds. Stop grabbing your wiener. I don't know where it gets into this like Muppet talk. When she says wiener, it sounds like fucking a Fraggle.
Yeah, a Fraggle Rock character.
Yeah, it sounds like a fucking Fraggle
Sounds like
saying
she has
wiener.
a bubble in her throat.
Yeah, I don't understand it, but you said that with your son, he was always tugging on that thing and playing with it as a
was.
baby.
Yeah, like you said, it's the minute the diaper comes off, it's just like a magnet.
And I don't know, does he have some weird, naturally instilled in his DNA type of anxiety that it's going to fall off if he doesn't check if it's still there every 10 minutes?
I don't think so because he's outgrown that habit. He doesn't do it now as a 14-year-old, thank God. You know.
That you're aware of.
Well, probably finds his own time to touch it.
I fucking hope so.
Oh, there's one for you. Something you'll have to look forward to.
Yeah, I've been teasing Tim for years about his kids and throwing away all the towels.
Yeah.
Once he graduates high school, oh my God. I
I've been
don't want to deal with that.
I've been having to have conversations lately with my son in washing his bedding, because I don't know if he's doing his own business and leaving the evidence around, or if this is from sleeping and waking up and oh crap. But there's been times where it's like, have you been wiping your nose on your... Oh God. Nope.
Okay. How many times did you have a wet dream that you can remember in your life?
One? I did not have very many.
I had like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I wore boxers, so I woke up and they were all slimy. I'm like, why am I all wet and go, oh, fuck? But it wasn't like I rolled around and I spread the jizz everywhere like a piece of toast that you drop on the plate and it gets the jelly on the eggs and stuff.
Right. I don't know what this is, and it's not like it's a heavy coating, but it's enough to where you're like, yeah, I'm sure that's what that is.
Hi, it's the body. Is your feather boa not as fluffy as it used to be? Wink, wink. Huh? I'm here to talk about Blue Chew Chewables. I don't know, these little blue candy things that help you get a boner. And, they have the same ingredients as Viagra. And it comes in discreet packaging, so your neighbors don't know that you're not as much of a man anymore. For just $20 a month, you can join their club, and they'll send you pills that'll make you into a sexual tyrannosaurus, just like me. Use them, and you'll be as much of a man as I was in my film Abraxas, Guardian of the Universe. It's an actual movie, fucking look it up. Did not get very good reviews, and it's more of like a cult film than a Hollywood classic. So, in closing, just go to BlueChew.com to get your boner pills. It'll make your pee-pee hard again, and your wife will stop feeling sexually unfulfilled and wishing that you were an entire team of Filipino soccer players all taking turns on her. Greetings, my name is Daisheng. I'm the president and CEO of Angry Dragon Incorporated. Today I come to you with the promise of better vascularity and more stamina. I am speaking, of course, of a new male supplement simply called Bonafuel. Made from a proprietary blend of 13 herbs and spices that I am mostly confident are all natural and will leave your wood so rigid that you can break bones with it. Giggity. I fully guarantee that if you add 2 teaspoons of this powder to any beverage, that within 15 minutes you'll be fully petrified and ready to enter battle with even the most honorable of foe. Imagine the look on your lover's face when you remove your kimono and present a Bushido blade the likes of which has not been wielded since the times of feudal Japan. Available at all GNC stores or local small-time grocery stores that also sell outdated produce. It's not just fuel, it's Bonafuel.
You're listening to Blumpkin and Friends.
Speaking of dicks, obviously I'm assuming you got little man circumcised.
Yes.
We also circumcised my son.
Okay.
For very good reasons.
And just like when I got my son circumcised, I bet they didn't claim there was any good reasons for it, and it was all cosmetic, and therefore they didn't want to pay for it, like insurance and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I wasn't there when they did it. I had her talk to them, and then they did it while I was at work.
Okay.
And then I didn't change a diaper for like 2.5, 3 weeks until he was all healed up.
Oh, yeah, it's gross at first.
Yeah, I didn't want to see his mutilated little baby cock, because then I might feel bad. And how do you explain to a kid who cries when you wipe him down there that, no, buddy, you got to think long game. Someday, your cock isn't going to look like a steamed yam.
Right.
And women aren't going to be repulsed at the fact that you just pulled a Chinese water snake out of your shorts and want them to put their mouth on it.
The sea slipper or whatever those are. Yeah.
If you want to see something gross yet compelling, Google smegma licking.
Oh.
That fucking crust that forms around your cockhead under your foreskin, smegma. And I watched some Asian broad once in a video fucking licking that shit, and it looked like goddamn cottage cheese around this dude's dick. And she was doing it with a smile on her face, but you could see her like gag and wince when she licked it because it was so gross. But she had to keep smiling for the camera.
Yeah.
That right there. She works hard for the money, so you better treat her right. by not washing your dick for 3 weeks beforehand so she gets that full fucking flavor. That's like Ruffles dressed all over chips, is what they call it in Canada.
It was one of those things that I always think back to a joke I heard on, I can't even remember the TV show now, it was years ago, but they were basically asking about circumcision and if their kid or boy should be circumcised. And somebody made the comment of, well, I feel like the boy's penis should look like his dad's. So, and that wasn't why I did it, but for whatever reason, when it would come up, I always wanted to say that comment.
Well, somebody has said, well, it's just stupid religious tradition, and you're mutilating their penis, and you don't have to do it. And think of the countries, and I have seen video in Africa where they don't do it till you're a certain age.
Oh my God.
Holy fucking
Yeah, it's like
shit.
a rite of passage for them to be an adult or something like that, isn't it?
So some guy walks up in front of the whole village and pulls his dick out. And for some reason, he's half-mast. I don't know if it's the fear and the adrenaline giving him that boner. Because I watched a guy get dismembered alive by some cartel members, and he had a boner the whole time.
Oh, that's got to be it then.
So then the guy walks up in front of the whole village. All the guys, they're chanting, they're singing songs. It's like a weird sporting event for these people, which makes sense because they don't have cable TV or, medical
Sports.
care. Old guy grabs his dick, just grabs it from the base, stretches the skin as far as it'll go, takes a knife, whack, and then it springs back and there's blood. And then they throw some fucking delousing powder or some shit on there on it.
Dust and dirt. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that was horrible.
No.
Thank God they do it with clean instruments in a fucking hospital. Because I have heard horror stories that they will have these mass circumcision events in these villages.
Oh yeah, and they all use the same knife.
Yeah, and then sometimes they'll fuck it up and they'll cut too much. Or they won't stretch the skin enough. They'll
From
take
the
out
method
part
that
of the
you
head.
just described, I don't know how that doesn't happen all the time.
And they
Jesus.
have told these boys, oh, don't worry, it'll grow back. And then it fucking doesn't have these weird flat-tipped dicks that's like having a pencil eraser with a piss hole and a bunch of scar tissue around it.
Yeah, that's got to feel great.
I
when you have
imagine
sex.
that all of their helmets look like California raisins without sunglasses.
Well, and you got to think about it. That's got to pretty much ruin the sensation or the feeling, too.
Tempers. Girls can be bitchy, but Junior gets frustrated more, lately especially, and he will bang his head on shit when he gets mad.
I thought you were going to say he would bang something, because would just pick up something and smash it down or something like that, but not bang his head.
He has slapped his high chair. He has thrown a toy. He has fucking bit down on things or been like he's going to bite somebody.
Yep.
Which I don't understand why that's his first instinct is to bite. That seems like more of a girl thing.
You got to make sure you correct that. It won't go over well in daycare and school.
Then one time he picked up a whole stack of diapers that were in the package and lifted above his head and then slammed it down and went, bah! And I'm like, wow, I'm impressed at your strength. But what the fuck was up with that? So he throws these tantrums. And the only other kid that did it was the Juice. So my first one.
Okay.
He gets mad. He bonks his head on the floor. And then he cries about it.
Because he hurt his head.
Yes. And I look at him like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen, genius? Stop doing that shit.
Maybe it's a firstborn, lastborn type thing then, because my son didn't do that. I mean, there was one time where he'd be throwing a temper tantrum and he threw his head back, in exasperation or something and hit his head and then cried some more. But it wasn't like he was purposely smacking his head against something.
Oh, the Juice did it one time at my parents' house on their third level, the one that has just the concrete floor underneath the carpet and the pad.
Yeah.
And she got mad and screamed at something, then wham! And then there was 2 seconds of build-up before she cried so fucking hard, and I was afraid she wasn't going to be able to do math ever.
Yeah, I was going to say that stunned moment where that hurt way more than she expected it
Oh,
to.
holy shit. Yes.
That is an interesting look to see on your child's face.
And then I'm like, he's going to hurt his brain, and I'm afraid he's going to be the dumb one then. You don't have that problem. You only got the one. So
He's
if
the
he's
smartest
the dumb
and
one,
the dumbest.
He wins all of the awards.
Exactly.
Whereas I have a scaled system based upon their birthing order, but then you have to take into account the different environments they were raised in. And then it's like, well, Jesus Christ, who's going to be the dumb one?
Right. And it's hard not to do comparisons, right? Because you have these benchmarks. You have 4 or 5 different other benchmarks to hold them up against. You know what I mean? As far as other children.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he does this. The other ones didn't do this. I mean, you have all these comparative things where for me, it's just like, well, It is what it is.
Yeah, like him grabbing on his fucking junk all the time. I broke the juice and cheat you that habit pretty early on. I'm like, don't touch your giny.
You were able to, yeah.
Yeah. Only one time did the juice think it was funny to like slap it. I'm like, don't do that. She's like, ha ha ha. And looked at me for approval. I'm like, no. She's like, ha ha ha. I'm like, slapped her hand. Well, that broke her the habit.
Yep.
Whereas her sister is a bitch. And when she's like, I think 1.5 or something, I'm like, don't touch your giny. And she whispers at me, I have to. Which was like her telling me, fuck
She
you,
cracks me up
but
sometimes.
super creepy. Yeah. You know, this is the same kid that when she said, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it. And I'm like, don't say that. And then I close my eyes again to go back to couch napping. And she walked past my head and right in my ear and goes, God damn it. And then smiles as she walks away when my eye opens. Yeah, just a button pusher.
She's going to be that way her entire life.
We've reached the point in the show when it's time to play a game. I just want you to know that you'll be playing BS Trivia.
Cool.
The all-time high out of 10 is still 8. Shared by Dr. Murr and number 1 fan Tim. That drives Joey Black insane because he wants to be the best, and he still complains that I threw a bunch of softballs to number 1 fan Tim to tie Dr. Murr, which completely neglects the fact that Tim didn't break the record, he just tied it. Get over yourself. Quit crying like a bitch, Joey Black. Oh! So, it's topical. It's based upon what we've been talking about. 10 questions. They will have answers, or maybe they won't. And I give half points for creativity. Without further ado, BS Trivia.
It's time to play bullshit trivia on Blumpkin and Friends.
Question number 1. Spell circumcision.
CIRCUMSISION.
That is incorrect. CIRCUMCISION.
I couldn't remember if it was a C or an S. And as a medical professional, I'm very ashamed of myself.
As someone that has a penis, you should know this. Question number 2. I actually had to do some real work with the wife to figure out this one myself. If you have... Sorry. This is a math problem. It's also a word problem. If you have 2 sons, and they each have 4 sons, and then they each have 1 son, how many total boys is that?
16.
It's 18.
2. You said they each had 4.
You have 2. They each have 4, makes 10. Each of those 4 each have 1 is another 8, 18.
Sure.
Sure.
I'm thinking I misheard the question because are you counting yourself in this thing?
No, because then it would have been 19. You still would have been
Yeah,
wrong.
no, I know. That's why I'm like, what's your math?
I told her I had to make it a challenge because you're such a fucking math whiz. I can't just do conventional math.
Jesus, I'm off my game. I've been sober. That's it.
Oh, shit.
I haven't smoked in a while, so.
Uh-oh. Well, question number 3. True or false? Girl babies tend to be fussier.
I'll say true.
It's false. Boy, you are shitting the bed so far.
We're going to get an all-time low.
No, you have to get a 2 to get an all-time low. Held by Bobby Murderface.
Oh.
Question number 4. Average penis length at birth is, multiple choice, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, or 2 inch.
I'd say 1 inch.
It's 1.5.
Fuck. I can't get anything. I'm so close.
They said on average it's 1.1 to 1.6, and it went over the halfway mark, so I favored the 1.5.
Wait a minute. I was pretty close to 1.1, but all right.
I will give you a 0.5 point.
All right.
Because I decided which side of the line to do. Okay, question number 5. Name 3 of the 4 boy babies on Rugrats.
I'm not familiar with the show.
Are you shitting me?
No.
Did you not have Nickelodeon as a kid?
I was too old for that.
Fuck's sakes.
No, we did not have Nickelodeon. My family was poor. We did not have cable. My parents did not get any premium TV until probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
No, well, we had to turn it into a sob story. So you have not a single guess.
Doug, Tim, Pete, and Willie.
Okay, not even close.
Okay.
There's Tommy,
Oh, yeah. Actually, I should have known Tommy. That is
His-
actually one I would recognize. Yeah.
Years later, he had a brother named Dill.
No clue.
There was the boy twin, Phil, and their orange-haired friend, Chucky.
Okay, I should have gotten those two.
The blue
I
shirt
should have
with the
gotten
rocket
Tommy
ship
and
on
Chucky. Yeah, I did know the show enough to at least know those two, but I didn't know the other boys.
it. Holy shit, this could be a record. Good thing I gave you that half point. Question number 6. Higher Rotten Tomatoes score. Baby Boom or She's Having a Baby?
I don't remember Baby Boom. I'll say She's Having a Baby.
Okay, well, it was Baby Boom.
I'm glad. I'm guessing everything wrong today.
Baby Boom.
Everything wrong. True, false, a 50-50 chance.
So Baby Boom involves a chick, goes from the corporate world to moving out to like a country house, and then she starts her own baby food company when she makes baby food for this girl baby.
Oh.
Anyway, 76%. She's Having a Baby, which stars Kevin Bacon, 40%. She's Having a Baby is a much funnier movie.
Okay, I was going to say, you're speaking from a point of reference here. I have no idea.
Yeah, Baby Boom is more like a dramedy. You know, you're based upon, oh, she's uprooting her whole life to do this. It's this
Inspirational
woman's
and,
struggle, whatever, show us your tits. Question number 7. True or false? Circumcision is considered barbaric.
Now, that's just an opinion. I would say false because I do believe there's a medical background to it. I think there's a need for it, but some people would definitely say it's barbaric because obviously you're chopping off young boys' tips of their penis. But so yes, I'm going with not barbaric.
Okay, well, the first thing that I found on Google was that it is barbaric because they say it doesn't really hold much value medically, and it's traditional and it's religious.
So this is where I was bringing this up earlier to you. That's why they don't want to pay for it. Insurances won't pay for it anymore. They refuse to pay for it. Medical assistants refuse to pay for it
It's
because
cosmetic.
they consider it cosmetic.
Fuckers.
And that's the argument that they put. They say that there's no medical advantage to doing it, but I would think not having to clean out smegma, not having to deal with infections and things like that would make it non-barbaric. It's almost like we've recognized we don't need this.
Well,
Kinda
that
like
also,
an appendix.
not
Just taking
having
out-
to fucking like play with your son's dick when you wipe him.
Exactly.
You
I
can
don't want
just-
to clean in there.
You take a wipe and you just go over it.
Yep. Maybe
Maybe give it the wrap with the 3
Yep.
fingers quick to get the poo off of it if there's any.
yeah, if you got to do a little twist motion off of the end of it. Yeah.
If you have to clean your son's dick with 2 hands, you either have a horribly messy baby that you should just throw out and make a new one, or you're a pedophile. Because nobody should enjoy that shit.
I was just going to say, or you could be like Ron Jeremy's dad and just be like, well, got to figure it out, put it back in the diaper.
No. Oh, I was not aware of that.
Sidebar, years ago there was a documentary on him, like 90s, early 2000s, and that's pretty much what like all the nurses in the wing commented on the size of his dick at the age of 1 day old.
So his dad was very self-conscious about his cock and was like, fuck you, figure it out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ah, what a bastard. Question number 8. It's always the same. No one ever gets it. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Tallahassee.
Okay, why Tallahassee?
Sounded cool.
Okay. She's in Boys Town, Nebraska.
Well, at least I was in the right country this time.
She's going door to door, pretending to be a Jehovah's Witness, and then tying people up and stealing other shit.
Isn't that what Jehovah's Witnesses do?
No. They come into your house, tell you about their God, and then they roll around on the floor with you.
Oh.
Okay, so we're getting to the home stretch here. You have
Half point.
a half point. Mother of God.
Yeah. The 50-50s, man, are not coming through for me. And
Okay, well,
apparently I could not spell circumcision.
you better run the table here. Question number 9. What is the average birth weight for boys? Multiple choice.
Okay.
6.5, 7, 7.5, or 8 pounds.
So terrible questions, man. They're all close enough to where they could all be reasonable. I was 6 pounds 6 ounces and I was small. Was right around 7 or 7.6. I'll say 7.5.
That is correct. Ooh. But if you get the next one wrong, you're the all-time loser at 1.5 points.
Well, it's going to bring my average down.
And one of those is a mercy half point. Question number 10. True or false? 1 child is enough.
True.
That is correct.
Especially coming from a single child dad.
Yes. All right, so I'm going to write this on here that you got 2.5.
Yay.
You saved yourself. I believe once upon a time ago, Tim also got a 0.5 that saved him from being the lowest. And then he got kind of pissy about it. He's like, no, take the half point, whatever. Let me fucking be the lowest of all time. Fuck you.
Okay.
It's on there somewhere. It's so many. There's like a bunch I haven't written up on the wall yet.
Okay. Yeah, it must not be out there. I see a couple 3s. I'm not too proud of my 2.5, but
Well, it happens.
like I said, sobriety. It's weird.
Interact with the show on Twitter at Blumpkin Show. That is at Blumpkin Show. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/Blumpkin and friends. We are on iTunes and on Podbean at blumpkinshow.podbean.com. For original songs, go to soundcloud.com/BlumpkinMusic or to YouTube and search Blumpkin Music. I'm the Reverend Johnny Blumpkin.
This is Steiny.
Or
Other Neil.
good night.